For this question, you can see that there are a total of 3 fractions, and we are actually doing an addition. Okay, we are doing an addition. So it's really not easy because you are looking at 3 big fractions. So addition of fractions, right? What we want to do is we want to make the denominators the same. Right? We want the denominators to be the same. So when the denominators are the same, then we can consider adding the fractions together. Okay, a similar example is that, if I were to ask you to do in primary school, 1 over 3 plus 1 over 2, right? What will you do is you would, actually convert both to a denominator of 6, right? So you will actually identify, multiply by 2, multiply by 2, multiply by 3, multiply, in order to create the same denominator. Okay, not only when the denominator is the same, we can actually add our fractions together. Okay, also addition of fractions, always what we need to do, most importantly, is always to create the same denominator. Okay, before we can add, before we can actually start to commence addition or subtraction. Okay, so the idea is that if I look at ax minus 6y, all the denominators, they're actually different. But in a way, if you look at each of them, right, they seem to be related, right? They seem to be related. Now, if you think of factorization, as you always do with fractions, right? Algebraic fractions, we always consider that we can factorize each term. That will allow you to have a simpler time. Okay, so you don't have to go and multiply this by this by this just to create the same denominator. That will take up too much time. You're going to spend a lot of energy trying to factorize later again. So the trick here is if you look at 4x squared minus 9y squared, Okay, I just want to see that. If you think of it, recall that a squared minus b squared, when we factorize a squared minus b squared, right, this is actually a minus b bracket a plus b. What does this tell you is that if you look at 4x squared, now 4x squared minus 9y squared, right? This is like 2x, entire 2x squared minus an entire 3y squared. Okay, so this is really like an expression that's in the form of a squared minus b squared. Okay, so just remember, 4x squared is not 4 times 4x whole. This is not equal to this. Okay, so common mistake is people think this. Okay, it is not. Okay, so remember, you're talking about 2x squared, because 2x squared is 2x times 2x. That gives you the 4x squared. Okay, so just be careful of that. Then with that, right, 2x minus 3y squared. Now, we know that if we factorize it, it's supposed to give us something of the form of, like a minus b, a plus b. Okay, so what is a minus b and what is a plus b? In this case, remember, our a is 2x, our b is 3y. So it means that we are looking at a minus b, a plus b. Okay, so this is how, and all the work they are doing just to factorize the first denominator here. Tough, isn't it? Okay, yeah. So you observe around all the factors and all the terms here, and you always try to look at whether they can be factorized. Okay, usually if they can be factorized, for a reason. Okay, like this to do some cancellation. Now observe 8x minus 6y. This can also be factorized. If you remove a common factor 2, this is 4x minus 3y as well. So I'm just going to leave it as that. At this point in time, I may not know what is it used for. I'm just going to factorize it first. It may not come in handy later on. Okay. So with that, I'm just going to continue and write. So I'm just going to put this at the side and start my main business now. Okay. So my first fraction is 2 bracket 4x minus 3y. My denominator, as I factorized earlier, is 2x minus 3y. 2x plus 3y. And if you observe very carefully, right, it's very similar to the other 2 fractions that I have. Okay, it's very similar to the other two fractions that I have. Okay, so look at how similar this is compared to these two. So if I want to create, remember we always try to find the LCM of the denominator in order to create the same denominator. So what I want to do is I want to take 2x plus 3y and make it look like this. Okay, now from 2x plus 3y, if I want to create this as my denominator, I need to multiply by 2x minus 3y. 2x minus 3y. So 2x minus 3y is here. 2x minus 3y. 2x minus 3y. Okay, that's the extra term that I'm going to create. Remember that when we multiply the denominator, we also multiply the numerator. Okay, so this is so that, remember, we are multiplying overall by the value of 1. Okay, like what you do here, multiply by 2 over 2, multiply by 2x minus 3y over 2x minus 3y. Over here, I multiply by 2x plus 3y over 2x plus 3y. And you can see that the moment you do something like that, the entire term has the same denominator. Okay, now once I'm in this position, I'm ready to add. So I'm going to start combining everybody into the same denominator of 2x plus 3y and 2x minus 3y. And just going to copy all of my numerators together. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so maybe I'm just going to open it up. 8x minus 6y. After all, the factorization didn't come in handy. Yeah? Now, negative 3 to positive 2x. Remember, that's around every fraction, that's an invisible bracket. Negative 3 to negative 3y, negative positive 9y. Positive 4 to 2x, 8x. Positive 4 to 3, that's a positive 12y. Okay, so I'll leave it to you to simplify the entire expression at the numerator. Now, 8x minus 6x, 8x. Now, if I combine these two together, eventually you're going to get 10x. Okay, negative 6y, positive 9y, positive 12y. If I combine this, that's also going to give me an overall of 15y. Okay, again, you can see that the top seems to be factorizable. Okay, so that is the first section here. So what do I do? Okay, if it's factorizable, try to factorize, because after you factorize, then you see that it can be probably put into a simpler form. Okay, so if you factorize the numerator probably you can take out a 2, or oh no, even better, I can take out a 5. Sorry, not a 2, but I take out a 5. And this is 2x plus 3y. And you can see that 2x plus 3y also appears in the denominator. Okay, therefore it can be cancelled off, and our final answer is just 5 over 2x minus 3y. Okay, thank you.